That was wonderful. How
Thank you.
we are live on Juhl Media YouTube channel, and I see Jeff is here. A lot of your guests are here. Welcome, welcome everybody, and thank you so much for being my guest today. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing very well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit the first piece we just heard.
That was the partita, the jig from the first partita of Bach in B flat major. Wonderful piece. That was recorded some time ago when I was using both hands easily. These days, I've had some challenges, and I'm working my way back into being able to play again with both hands. I'm looking forward to doing that again.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about what happened. Your left hand is not as mobile as before.
I had a stroke, and it affected my left side, my foot, and my leg, and my hand. Fortunately, though, I don't have a speech impediment, or it hasn't affected my cognition. We'll see. Maybe I'll forget something. But it's mostly I've been fortunate not to have any horrible, long-lasting effects. I just have to do my therapy, and little by little, I'm rejuvenating. I can use this now. It's coming back.
Well, that's very. I can relate to that a little bit because my father had a stroke in 2007. The first one was okay. Then he had like 4 more during the next few years, and then eventually he could not move the right side. I remember he can move his left side. So it was a lot of challenge, and so I can kind of witness, how difficult a stroke patient can be. And it's wonderful you actually still perform. So tell us about how you deal with just performing with one hand.
Well, I'm glad to say that I can use my right hand as before, and it's probably gotten a lot better since I've been working on it mostly. Um, Being a composer also is very helpful too, in that I've written a new piece and I've made arrangement of some pieces of Scarlatti and Bach and Schubert, Hovannes also, for a right hand alone, and adapted to fit my hand. But this has been my way of keeping my sanity. I can be active. I have a handful of performances coming up with my right hand alone. And while I'm waiting, I'm not just waiting, I'm actually practicing with both hands these days. But it's going to take, I'm told, it could be a year or so before I feel reliable
Mm.
enough to play
Yeah,
publicly with my left hand.
yeah. Well, I wish you the best and heal and get better soon. And
Okay.
tell us a little bit about your background, where you were born, and how you became a pianist and a composer.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised in Washington, D.C. I'm a four-generation native, which is pretty rare because the city is mostly an itinerant city. Um, I grew up playing piano, mostly playing jazz, and I hate to admit it, rock and roll too.
Wow, that's
Sometimes playing the
wonderful.
organ and some other rock instruments also. But I have an unusual background for a classical musician, which I am, also. Uh, those that do both often do it the other way around. But I became, at first, I was intending to become an engineer, and I went to Carnegie Tech at the time. And the first day I was there, I met just sitting at breakfast table chatting with a music major, a piano major. And we got to chatting, and I asked him, well, what are you going to do when you graduate? And he said, I'm going to be a famous pianist, of course. And anyway, I ended up taking some lessons from him. I had piano lessons early on with a couple of the neighborhood teachers, but I frustrated them because I wanted to do what I wanted to do and not what they told me to do.
Mm.
And but when I was in college and taking some lessons from this guy, I really I fell in love with the music and practiced a little bit. I neglected some of my other homework. And then little by little, I got more and more interested. I left Carnegie Tech. I went to San Francisco. I was intending to become a famous rock and roll star. Fortunately, that didn't work out. And then I came back. The short story is I ended up coming back to Carnegie Tech. At that time, it was now called Carnegie Mellon University.
Yeah.
And I ended up studying with the teacher that
Uh-huh.
my friend was studying with, and he ended up going into another field. So
Oh yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So you always pretty much you're still in Washington D.C. now, or
Oh,
you are located in Washington D.C. right now,
yes.
right? And
Yeah.
you were born there. Yeah. So that's wonderful. So was it being a pianist first? Usually is like, or you just write music first?
Oh, well, a little of both. I've been writing in one style or another all my life,
Mm,
and I was also taking. I was actually a double major at Carnegie, a composition piano major.
I see. Wow. That's wonderful. So, would you like to play for us on your piano? Like, let us
Sure.
enjoy a bit of your live performance.
Okay. Um, I can I
Hmm?
can I play first? Maybe something not of my own composition. Just
Okay, you can play anything. You can
uh,
play us rock and roll.
you might be sorry you asked me to do that. Well, I'd like to just play a very short piece by Sonata by Scarlatti,
Okay, great.
uh, arranged for one hand and by yours truly. Um, this is for those that are interested in looking it up. It's Longo 401 in C major. Let me put this thing down. So, can you hear it all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Wow. Bravo. Bravissimo. You
Thank
have
you.
lots of fans there listen to you, and some people say they can hear really well. Rachel said, Rachel Small, that must maybe this Small is your related to you. I have a
That's
feeling.
one of my daughters.
Hi, daughter. Yeah. So, and we have an EPA Alumni Association. I don't know what's that stands for. I have a very good question. Question for how? Can you see in the
Yeah.
original composition which you adapted for the hand for one hand? How much was played by left hand? Was it a lot?
Okay, say that in the original composition, the one I just played was by Scarlatti, and that was that was for two hands, and the original had you'd have the da 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 dee da 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 da, and then the left hand would answer ba da da dee da 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 da. But I'm jumping around trying to make my right hand double duty and do everything there.
Multitasking. Wonderful. It's a very clear, very sharp and very yeah, very sharp. I mean, I'm an instrumentalist. Oh, by the way, let me introduce myself. I'm Ching Juhl. My first profession is a violist. I was trained and played professionally. Oh, welcome to New York City. We have lots of sirens.
Yeah, we got those here too.
Yeah, I'm right on the street of Amsterdam. We're very close to Columbia University on Manhattan. Yeah, so yeah, but later on, I always love shooting films and shooting videos. So now I'm pretty much full time doing videography and making films and making videos. And then I developed this talk with people, with artists, with filmmakers, or all kinds of people, even politicians. And so today, I believe how you are my 126th episode.
Wow, I'm honored.
Since last March. Yeah, so I've been doing for 18 months. And please subscribe this channel if you like our program, and please liking our video, and also Hal has a very nice YouTube channel, and so follow his YouTube channel, just his name, and then there's a lot of performances or recordings on that. All right, so let's talk about now, what is the most challenging thing for you, since you know your stroke is in February, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So are you getting better? Like since February to now, it's almost 6 months. Are you getting better, or it's the symptom is the same? Like how do you how do I say um, deal with this whole saga? You know.
Well, it's challenging, believe me. You know firsthand from your father, I guess, but it's I'm getting better in some ways. I'm getting better tangibly. I feel the changes. My walking is getting better. Um, these days, I'm going for walks every morning with my wife tagging along, holding me at the gate belt so that in case I fall, uh, she's right there, and then we go down together. No. But so far, I haven't fallen outside.
Uh-huh.
Inside, I fell once, no big deal. But
I see.
uh, I'm coping well with that. My sensation, you know, if you try to tell me where you're touching me, my left side or my right side, I can't always tell. That's going to take a long time.
Mm,
The nerves, I understand, grow
mm,
back at a glacial pace.
mm,
It
mm.
can take years if.
Yeah. 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 So now we don't want to get too personal or detailed about, you know, like why do you see this is something related to your general health, or is it coming from nowhere, or is it like a genetic?
Well, my grandfather died of a stroke. It could be genetic,
I
but
see.
it's related to high blood pressure, which
Oh,
my
see.
father had also.
I see.
And maybe by definition, my lifestyle is
Uh-huh.
very uh, active and wanting to determined to do things and so forth. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that contributes. Uh, but
Yeah.
I urge anybody out there that has questionable blood pressure, take the meds, get it controlled,
Mm,
because
mm,
that's a major factor in this.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. My father was quite healthy when he was had a first episode. I think he was 70 something, 2 years old. Um, but he was a diabetic. He's
Uh-huh.
that diabetic too, you know. So he was too tired because he was traveling around the country in China and giving lectures and stuff like that. So and it's the funny thing. No, it's not funny though. Sorry.
Mhm.
The weird thing is he invented a machine can test people have stroke. He invented that. He has
Oh
a
wow!
patent in China. Yeah,
What is the machine? How does it
it,
work?
it's in. It's like putting your finger onto the thing and you're into a test tube, and then according to your finger pulse, and his machine can tell whether you have a stroke tendency or not. And so but he was giving lectures all around the country in China, teaching people how to use it. And then after the lunch, he had a stroke. So
Mm.
that's kind of weird. But anyway, that's my dad's situation. But I wish you all the best. So tell us, what is your current project?
Well, my main activities lately have been writing, arranging, and now more performing program for right hand alone. I wrote a composition I have called Diary of a Stroke, The Adventures of Herb and Pete. And
Herb and what?
Herb and Pete.
What's Pete?
That's what I'm wondering. I would bet a lot of people are wondering what the adventures of Herb and Pete possibly have to do with having a stroke. And the answer is when I was in the rehab hospital right after I left the emergency room and so forth, the intensive care, then I went to a rehab hospital for 3 weeks or two
Yeah.
weeks, was it? I forget. And one of the therapists was there, and I was doing something with my left hand, and I was saying, come on, Pete, behave. And
Yeah.
the therapist said, "Hey, that's great. What's your name for your leg?" And I said,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, let's call him Herb."
Yeah.
So we have Herb and Pete dancing around in this piece of music of mine, lightening up what otherwise could be a pretty heavy composition.
Oh, I see. That's funny. That's very funny. So, yeah, I have a question for you. You are obviously not a generation use a whole lot of tablets or social media. I realize that. So when you write music, are you embracing the new technology, or are you just using your pen and paper to write?
That's an excellent question. I, I let me answer the question this way. I do some modern technology. I like to answer that question by saying I compose by being in three different chairs. One chair is at the piano.
Yeah.
I like to improvise, and sometimes I'm improvising and I get an idea and I think, hey, that'd be something I want to develop and enter a composition. And then I'll move to another chair I call my throne, where I just sit back. And if you looked at me, it would look like I was falling asleep. But actually, that's when I'm doing some of the hardest work. I'm
Uh,
cerebrating on it, trying to imagine where this could go.
mm,
And then I go back to the piano and see if I can flesh it out. And I'm back and forth between the several chairs. And then eventually I have a rough draft, all written these days. I just use ink for the rough draft, crossing things out. It's a big mess,
mm,
just because I don't like breathing the pencil dust. And then I sit down at the computer, yes, and I use the computer just for computer notating the
Mm.
piece, and I end up with something that's publishable and very presentable. Then,
That's great. So, eventually, uh, nowadays, do you use like I don't know what do they call iPad to read some other music when you perform, or you
um,
use?
actually, I have some colleagues that use the iPad, and and you avoid page turns that way.
Mm,
It's great. Mostly, I perform without music. I'm um, much more comfortable playing by ear, how I grew up by
mm,
memory, than I am by eye.
mm,
Although
mm,
I do use music, and actually, I want to play a little bit of my own composition for you at some point,
please.
and I'm using the music for that mainly
Mm,
because I made it so darn hard. It took me forever to memorize it. I don't want to ruin the piece, but
Cannot remember your own writing.
that's right. I
Too
had a review
complicated.
once that stated Haskell Small, the composer, makes things difficult for Haskell Small, the pianist.
Yeah, torture that pianist.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so you want to do it now, right? Play for us
sure,
some your own composition. All right.
sure.
So yeah, you want to tell us what it is?
Okay. Well, the let me just take a few minutes to tell you about the piece as a whole, and then I'll just play a couple of extracts. Otherwise, it's
Sure.
14 minutes long. I don't want to
Okay.
do
Your
that.
friend your friend
Ah,
Suzanne said,
hey, Susan.
"Wow, you are so
Ah,
impressive, talented, and courageous,
glad to see
magnificent
you
to
here,
hear
Susan.
you."
Glad you could join us.
Yes, I wanted to while you before you start, I wanted to just shout out some people with us, and you did a really good job how to publicize our talk. Jeffrey, thank you so much for hooking us up. And Lydia, thank you so much for being here. EPA Alumni Association. What does EPA mean? Let me guess. E. What is EPA? Economic. No. uh, Parenting Association. Thank you for being with us, Rachel. Thank you, Marea. How do I say that? Maria. And who else is it?
Maria.
Betsy is here. Oh, you have Betsy. Yeah,
Betsy
Rachel.
is related to me also, my
Yeah,
wife.
yeah.
Uh,
Hi, wife. Hi, Betsy, wife. Yeah,
and she is, I could not live without her these days. She is so helpful to me. I'm really grateful.
yeah, yeah. It's always great to have a supportive family. Um, but in United States, I don't know about you. If I ever have some accident, I don't, I don't have the resource to hire a nanny, like a full-time nanny. But do you know in China, when my father got sick, they actually they were able to hire two nannies in
Mm.
China because the labor is kind of cheap, you know. So that's just another information you don't really need to know. Anyway.
Yeah, that's interesting. I thought that in China, in some countries, the generations help each other, and that it's very family oriented that way. Am I
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but except now the new generation, like I do not live with my father, and so my father and his current wife, which is not my mom, my stepmom, they live off in a little bit further from Shanghai, the big city. You know, they're
Hmm.
just you have to drive like 40 minutes. So anyway, but they are well to do enough to hire 2 caretakers to be with them 24 hours a day, like stay in their house. Yeah. So that is not very common in United States, I have to say, right?
Yeah. Well, if one can
Yeah.
afford it,
Don't get sick. Anyway, okay, thank you so much for joining us, Betsy, and bravo to your work. Yeah, I think that take care of a family member is just important and just a important work as any work. And like taking care of children also is important work. Yet this kind of work is not being compensated. Yeah, and it's not on the record. It's not giving, the economy number going very high. GDP does not go up. It doesn't count in GDP, so that's too bad. But anyhow, so tell us, what are you going to play?
all right. Just for the record, my wife is also a musician. Her job is not just to take care of me. She's a lutenist and
Ah,
plays beautifully.
wow, flute. Yeah. Um,
So, to tell you a little bit about my piece, Diary of a Stroke, one of the things that many stroke patients have in common is a kind of overwhelming, almost constant fatigue. They call it a stroke fatigue. And I've had that. I still have it. I have a little of it now. Um, Sleep is imperative. It helps somewhat, but not completely. So part of my piece, the opening of my piece, I call stroke fatigue. And I'm kind of in a fog and kind of feeling my way around in the world. I feel a little lost. Um, I'm also got a little bit of a sadness. This is something obviously that has traumatized me, and I mourn the loss of the abilities I've had and what I can gain back. Of course, I'm little by little enjoying regaining, but it's been a loss, obviously. And then that material, that musical material that I wrote representing that, comes back and forth in the piece throughout. And I have several movements that alternate with that. First, I introduce Herb and Pete, and then I have a section I call Rehab, where I'm musically trying to depict the grueling work of physical therapy. And then I have one part I'm really pleased with musically, how it's come out, is the what I call dance of the neurons. The human mind, not just the human mind, I guess any mammal mind, is an amazing organ. It is capable of regenerating and rewiring itself to compensate for the losses, the damaged areas. And I can feel this happening with me little by little. I wish it was faster, but it's happening. Then I have a section that is in my music that is basically developing the sad part of the stroke fatigue. And then finally, I end with a little bit of hope. We have the feeling of the rebirth, regaining, and we can hear Herb and Pete gallivanting around, celebrating the amazing capabilities of the human body to rejuvenate itself. So that's an overview. I'm not going to play the whole piece for you. It's 14 minutes long. I think you want to keep it short. So if I may play maybe the opening 2 parts, which is the first stroke fatigue section, and then I'll play the part introducing Herb and Pete. And altogether, that should be about 4 or 5 minutes.
Great.
So,
Thank you. Yes, that sounds great.
so let me put the microphone down. And,
Okay. And I will exit and let you play.
okay.
Yeah.
Get a sip of water and move over
Yep.
here.
Take your time. Peter is here. Betsy made a comment. Yeah. So we'll read your comment later after Hal play.
Okay.
Okay.
So.
Bravo.
Thank you.
When I closed my eyes, I could not tell it's one hand. Yeah, great. Well done.
Yeah.
We have some comments from people earlier.
Oh,
Um, let's see.
what did they think?
Yeah, they haven't wrote that yet. But Peter, before you play, say how it is great to hear you play. What progress you have made, and let me make it on the screen. What progress you have made and what talent is being restored. I am so delighted. Congratulations and keep going, Peter else in the UK.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Peter, for joining. Peter is who I refer to as one of my stroke buddies. Uh, when I was in the rehab center, I was part of what I was doing for trying to figure out what's going on in the world in similar ways as I was trying to find other musicians, pianists who have had the same affliction. And my daughter, Rachel, was very helpful in helping me hook up with some of them. And I was very happy to hook up with Peter and we had a Zoom session and met each other, so to speak. And we have so much in common. And I'll never forget, I asked him how he's doing with his walking and these days. I think he's a couple of years, out of having a stroke, further than me. But he responded, I walk with a stick," which I thought was a wonderful British expression. That I'm doing that now. I'm walking with a stick.
That's nice. That's nice. So now I think pianist or conductor or any instrumentalist, I was told that because music and playing instrument is such a not only mental workout, it is like you're working on your body, your muscles, your fingers, your 10 fingers. And for pianists, you have to use your pedal. I guess right now, I don't know if you can use a pedal on wheelchair, probably a little challenge, but it's supposed to be a very good practice or very good for us as a musician, right?
Yes, actually, I, it's been sold. Several people mentioned to me that being a musician is, if you're going to have a stroke, it's the best uh, training you could have, because a musician is experienced in practicing and drilling and repetitive, very demanding, trying to improve something. And that's exactly what's needed if one is going to improve as much as they can after having had a stroke. And so I am using my right foot for the damper pedal. I can use my left foot vaguely, but it's difficult at the moment. That's one of my frustrations at the moment. Is I have a 1989 Peugeot, a car that I have been in love with. I've had it since new all my life. And I just put a whole lot of money to restore the car. It's like new now. And then it took a year for it to be completed with the pandemic and everything. And then it comes back and I can't drive it because it has manual transmission and my left leg is not up for doing the clutch, unfortunately. Maybe down the road eventually, but at the moment I'm biting the bullet and I have to get a car with an automatic. Not my style, but if I'm going to have wheels, that's what I got to do.
Right, right. I understand. So now So tell us a little bit about more about the piece you just played. Are they like several movements in one big title?
Yeah. Well, the title is Diary of a Stroke. Kind of, I I was having a very hard time naming the piece, and that just popped in my mind as the perfect way of. I think of it having composed. The process of composing the piece feels
Mm,
like a diary, like I'm entering a new idea into a diary,
mm,
and so I built it that way, and then the co-title, "The Adventures of Herb and Pete," is obviously the uh, other side of this, something to keep the piece light, so it doesn't become so heavy that the audience just wants to turn it off. And I'm hoping that people will enjoy this when I'm going to be performing in a handful of different venues soon, and I'm
mm.
looking forward to their hopefully positive reactions.
So Diary of a Stroke. Do you call this atonal music? Do you have a sort of a category to?
Well, my style is evolving. I certainly have parts of it. I think you probably heard parts that are definitively, I wouldn't say atonal in the sense of a structured system of being atonal. I'm not a fan of Schoenberg 12 tone and that type of thing, although some of my pieces end up being 12 tone. I'm not aware of it even.
Mm,
But I also morph into some very tonal
mm,
type sounds that I value and part of my heritage, and I'm not going to, what's the word? I'm not giving up or uh, orphaning my origination, my background.
mm,
I'm using it in different ways as it feels like it wants to come out.
mm. Right, right. So now you actually have a very impressive um YouTube channel. Yeah, among all the people I have, interviewed with, and especially musicians, um, not many people have that many content. So I'm just going to show it to us right now. So watch Hal's YouTube channel. It's just go into YouTube and type his name, and you're gonna see his channel. And now, earlier when we started the program, we played a Bach partita in B flat major, jig. Anything else would you like to share with our audience before you play live?
Um, well, how about do you see there the Macedonian mountain dance?
Macedonian mountain
That's
dance.
by Hovannes, the Scottish Armenian composer.
Uh,
Very enamored with. Um, it should be
do you see it right now on the
with
screen?
very small print. I
Oh,
sent
okay.
you one of the
Okay.
links if you have that handy, but
Uh, yeah, I can. Um, Havanas. Okay. I think in here it's all labeled as the title of the piece.
uh-huh. Macedonian mountain dance.
Oh, okay.
You
Something
see that?
okay. I guess I don't see it. Sorry.
Or anything you want. Actually,
Yeah.
one thing I'd like to just point out down in the bottom left there, you can see what I'm wondering if you recognize, Ching, what that is in the lower left there.
Oh. Oh. It's called Lullaby of War,
Ah,
Part One of Four.
no,
Oh.
in the further to the left.
Oh, the
Left,
chess.
Yeah. So actually, that's go, or in
Uh-huh.
Chinese, you guys call it wei qi. Is that pronouncing it
Oh,
correctly?
围棋. 对对对
Yes.
对 Yes, yes, 围棋. Very good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of my hobbies. Is I love playing the game,
Oh,
and I love it
wow.
so much that I ended up writing some music based on
Wow.
a classic game of Go,
围
or
棋.
Wei Chi.
Oh, okay.
And it plays out with the moves coming up in time to the music and
Oh,
so forth.
so should we play one of them?
If you'd like to, it's a little long. You can play the opening of
Yeah.
that one, and when you
Okay.
think it's enough, feel free to stop.
Okay. Sure. So let me share that. 围棋. Go. Okay. Here we go. So we're gonna yeah, this one is 4 minutes. We're gonna probably listen to a little bit. Yeah, we'll see somewhere we can stop. Part two of two.
You have the end game up.
on the stage. That was wonderful. The audio is a little bit soft, so I wish it's a little bit louder, but it's really great. Right. So yeah. Do you have anything you wanted to show us? Why don't you play some
Sure.
jazz?
Oh, you asked for it. Okay. Well, I can. These days, I don't do jazz per se as such. I like to free improvise. I could fake a little something and see what happens. My left hand, actually, when I'm trying this, it's not critical if my left hand isn't as precise. And
Oh, I see.
anyway, I'll give you a little sample. Sure.
Sure, sure. Fake. I can fake too. Fake is a very good word.
Okay. Here's a sample.
Wonderful. That's awesome. You should do a lot more of those.
All right.
we'll
Thank you.
take you we'll
I
take you
hope.
to a bar or restaurant, and you can play for food.
I hope I don't starve.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the awards you've gotten. Like um what are those trophies you've gotten?
Oh, well, I've maybe you're talking about from playing Go. I've gotten a few tournaments. I enter as an amateur Go player. I'm not a professional Go player, but I've occasionally done well and taken home something. Uh, we have different tournaments at time. Well, I should say we have had in the past before pre-pandemic. There was something we called the pumpkin tournament around October time, and I took home a pumpkin once, so that's my trophy.
Yeah, very good. Now, you have made several recordings, right? Um, yeah. So, do you have any current plan to do more, or when you get better, or tell us the past recordings? Can we hear them on your YouTube channel?
Um, I don't think I have the CDs recordings on my YouTube channel, but they're available. I have good number. Back, I have a Gershwin CD from way back. I have a number of CDs in my own music. Um, I did a different, what was it? Trying to remember now. Anyway, what I really like to say is that the most recent one is a Bach recording. I recorded the Bach Goldberg variations at one
Mm-hmm.
point. I love Bach, and
That's a challenge piece,
oh
right?
god, yeah,
Yeah,
that's so beautiful.
yeah.
And I recently made a project, or I should say, over the last 10 years, I made a project of learning and recording, performing the partitas,
Mm.
the six Bach partitas. And that recording has finally come out. It's there's three major key and three minor key partitas. I have the three major keys on a CD, a single CD, and the minors are available online,
Mm.
digital recordings. And this has just been released, getting some good press on it. I'm pleased. has inspired me to attempt to play some of these again with both hands.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And you have some program lined up for you to perform starting next month.
Yes, I have a handful of several that are live in several live streams. One recording, a broadcast of a recording. If anybody is particularly interested, wants to know more, please email me. I'll be happy to let you know. Haskell at haskellsmall.com.
Yeah, I will put your upcoming concert in the description below.
Great,
in the YouTube. Yeah, and you should do that also on your own channel. Like, put this thing in your channel. So like when people try to find out who you are.
Yeah, right? I have to figure out how to do that. I know
you can do that because you just go into your channel, right? And you find your own channel, your own name, and then the next thing you look for about. There is a place about is to describe your channel, like who you are, and you can update these information.
Interesting. I wish I knew about that sooner. I would have updated with this show.
Yeah.
One of the items.
Yeah, but it's okay. I'll just update your performance dates into my this program below.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So so we're doing great. Sorry, I apologize for the siren. Sorry. So now I usually ask my composer friends who I interview with, and I would say if someone is young, in like under 20, still wanted to become a composer, to compose music for a living, what would you advise people like that?
Have a second job lined up. You have to really love the work and be obviously dedicated to working. If I tried to monetize, how much my hourly rate is, can depend on how much I actually work to produce something. It's going to be pennies. But that's not the answer you were looking for, I'm sure. But I have several composition students. Most of my students are piano students, but I have several composition students, and I encourage them to write, first of all, what they feel, what they want to, not to try to copy something, not to try to replicate somebody else's style. Although those that are serious, I've had a couple of serious composition students, I will ask them and tell them that if you really want to learn how to write contrapuntal music, study Bach, or the great masters, or whatever. The forms are important to master, to know how things are put together. And then you can make up your own forms, but you need some kind of idea of how, some kind of model of how things have been done.
Right. Very well said. Very well said. So now, hypothetically, you're good at many things. If you were not a composer or a pianist, what would you pursue as a profession?
Good question. Hang on one second. I'm about to run out of power, as I thought that might.
Okay.
1 sec.
Okay.
Okay. I'm back.
We can just play something and you.
I'm back, so I can't play anything more live without plugging the other thing back in. But I'm back
I
with
can
you.
play. I can
Oh,
play
good.
your recording.
Oh, do you see the Macedonian mountain dance there? That's a real fun one. If you can see that,
Okay, let me go. Um,
you might see it as Hovannes, his name first, or I'm not sure how I
okay,
listed it.
hold on a second. Yeah, so I just wanted to tell you guys when I'm just looking for it, and thank you so much for being with us. And I do this interview to pretty much every Wednesday 4 p.m. Occasionally, I add a Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. All right. So tell me one more time. Are you there?
Macedonian mountain dance.
Macedonian mountain dance. Okay.
Mountain dance. Yes.
Mountain dance. Is that how you labeled?
Yeah, or it might be. It might start with the composer Alan Hovannes. Do you see that?
Uh,
Several of his pieces there.
oh yeah, Alan Havanas. I saw that. Okay. So you have like, my God, 17K viewers. You have a 334 and 254, two of them.
Do you see the one Macedonian mountain
Yeah,
dance?
I see
Yeah,
it. Okay.
yeah.
All right.
That's a
Okay.
good one. I think.
Okay. Cool. All right. So I'm going back, and then uh, are you going to fix your computer when I'm playing?
Oh, it's fixed. I
Oh,
plugged back in the power. I'm all set. It's just that I can't. If I want to
okay.
play live, I have to plug the other thing back in. But
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Here we go. was awesome. Awesome.
Thank you.
That what kind of influence is this composer has? I see a lot of like very close intervals.
Yeah.
Da, dee, da,
Yeah. Well,
da.
he loves that.
A little
I,
bit
I
like a
think it's
Bartok.
and
Huh?
there's a little bit of Bartok in
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
There's a little bit of the Indian raga type of feeling is in
yeah,
there. Definitely, he has a very uh, what's the word? Esoteric, is that the right word? A very mixed bag of things he draws from.
right, right.
It's a
Like
wonderful composer.
a little bit European, Eastern European sound, a little bit even Asian sound, you know.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, yeah, very nice. And it's wonderful you played by memory. That's very impressive. So, we are at the end of our time. Do you have anything else you want to shout out? We did not talk about it.
Oh, well, maybe just one thing, just to make a public statement so you can hold it to me. Uh, one of the things I intend to do, I'm a person that likes to make lists of things to do, and I have a list that's getting very full.
Mm,
The things I want to do before I die.
mm.
But I've started a new list now, things I want to do after I die. So hopefully I can
Interesting.
finish the first list first. Anyway, and
Interesting.
on that list is to learn and perform the Beethoven Diabelli variations,
Wow.
which is something I have loved. And ever since I had the stroke, I've been very slowly working through it, hands with both hands, but very slowly.
Mm.
I intend to play that piece. That's my long-term project. Who knows? Maybe by the time I'm 75, maybe I have to wait longer. We'll see.
That's wonderful. So, now, what will be an I know you have all these performance lineup. What will be a ideal performance opportunity for you? Like the hall you want to play, the program you want to play.
Oh, very interesting question. Certainly, the program. I treat my performances, the programs of a performance, like a composition. I take care in how I string things together, what balances and contrasts and so forth. So that's paramount, I would say. And of course, a hall that is good acoustics without being too churchy, too echoey. Um, some churches actually, I think, are very good acoustically. Some are, it's nothing but a blur. So it's hard balancing there. But,
Right. Right, that's true. And being a pianist is also a little bit challenge because you go in there, you don't have a whole lot of control when you want to, what kind of piano you want to play on. Not like some superstar pianists that bring their own piano, right, to Moscow
yeah, it's
to
hard to
perform.
fit that in my pocket.
Yeah, yeah. So you have to deal with whatever piano you have, and sometimes they may not even be tuned, right? I'm
It's
sure.
horrible.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah,
you run into that. Yeah,
absolutely have.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I have to, what's the expression? I have to make lemonade from the lemons sometimes.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I only have four strings. I tune them myself. So yeah, you have much challenge to do. Yeah. So should we do a quick game?
Oh,
I
if you'd
have this
like.
called rapid fire. Rapid fire is I ask question, a short question, and my guest answers in short way, hopefully. And it's just a fun little thing to do. Okay. Before I say
Okay.
that, I want to thank everybody to be with us. Juliana is here. Betsy, Lydia, Jeffrey, Maria, Rachel. Thank you for being with us. Julian said, "Thank you very much. This has been wonderful. All the best for you on your future recovery. Warm greetings from Berlin." Oh my goodness. All from
Oh,
Germany, and we have
yeah.
with someone from UK, international support.
What time of
That's
day or night is it there now?
it's 6 hours after our time, so Lo Chip Juice at 10 p.m. Yeah.
Oh, thanks for staying up.
Yeah, I was counting in Shanghai dialect. Isn't that interesting? When I count, I still count in Shanghai dialect. It's my native dialect, but I do speak Mandarin. All right. Okay. Rapid fire.
Okay.
Okay. Ready. What's your favorite color?
Green has to be the one. No question.
uh, what is your favorite drink? Alcohol drink.
Oh, um, I have to stop and think of the name of it, but there is a liqueur that I got once when I was touring in Berlin. What was the name of that? Betsy might remember, and she can type it in. But it is incredible. Something with a little bit of a cream flavor in it too. I loved it.
Mm, very nice.
Quite
Um,
potent. It was very deceptive. I got drunk that night.
when you are not in a composition mode, when you are relaxing, what kind of music do you listen to?
um, Different types. Often jazz or sometimes even rock. I admit to. Um, I, uh, it varies. I
Yeah.
can't say anyone.
What's your favorite radio station?
QXR, right?
That's the right answer.
So they're good.
Which book did you read the recently you really like?
Oh, wow. I'm in the middle of reading a book about the Indian Geronimo. It's called Watch for Me on the Mountain. It's incredible. It's not for people with squeamish stomachs, though, but it is just one of the best books I've ever read so far on the subject, and just it keeps me intrigued.
Hmm, great. How about what is your choice? Chicken, beef, or vegetable?
Um, Chicken and beef. My wife doesn't give it to me that often, but I still like beef and veggies. I like veggies too.
Yeah. Do you take vitamins regularly?
Yeah.
Great, great. Before you had a stroke, did you exercise?
Yes, pretty regular walking has been my main exercise. I used to walk 20 minutes, uh, good 20 minutes a day. Now I'm getting out there. I might be walking 20 minutes, but I'm only going down to the end of the block and back. But I'm slow, but and I do Tai Chi, for example. You must know,
That's great.
uh,
That's
and
great. That's
not very
awesome.
not very exactly, but I love the feeling of doing Tai
Yeah,
Chi.
that's wonderful. Yeah. May I ask how many children do you have?
I have two daughters. One who is here. At least I'm not sure if Sarah showed up or not. Is she here? I don't know. Anyway, I have two wonderful daughters.
Yeah, they can watch this whole thing right after we finish. It's going to be on my YouTube channel.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's archived
yeah,
through your.
yeah. It's just stays there. If I don't take it down, so that
Uh-huh.
people can watch. It's the
Oh,
same
great.
link. Yeah.
I'll
Anyway,
let people know.
yeah, yeah. Now I assume you have um, um, traveled to different countries or cities. Do you have a favorite place?
Oh, if I had to say Japan, uh, just I I love the food and the culture. And China. I spent several. I went to China several times. once was for playing Weiqi, and another time for playing concerts. I did
Wow.
some sister city concerts in China.
Wow. Which city did you go, may I?
I played in Tianjin, um, uh, Beijing, and Guangzhou.
Wow, that's nice. So you went to these typical tourist place in Beijing, like I
I
mean,
went to some.
Forbidden City, Great Wall, stuff.
The Great Wall, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's amazing. You know, in Julia opened a school in Tianjin now.
Ah,
Yeah.
I did not know.
So yeah, Tianjin is a Julia's what do you call associate conservatory. Yeah.
Interesting. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and they actually hired Shanghai Quartet. I don't know if you know Shanghai Quartet. Shanghai Quartet is a quite well-known string quartet. They've been together for like more than 35 years.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and the Shanghai Quartet is hired by the Tianjin Juilliard School. So why am I talking about that? Because because some of them that we went to school together. We
Ah,
went to
how nice.
conservative together. I know them. Anyway, so what else? Question. Yeah, I think I have one last question. Very simple. Coffee or tea?
Coffee, no question. My favorite expression is don't get between a man and his coffee. If you know
You
it's
know
good
what?
for you.
Hey, you know how have you ever tried Turkish coffee?
Yes, that's potent stuff.
I love it. I am in love with it. Like I had experience last month in California, and then I bought Turkish coffee. Now I drink it every day. Like I drink 3 times a day.
Wow.
I still can go to sleep.
Oh,
So that's very strange.
that is interesting. I'll
Yeah,
have to try that.
you
Maybe
have to
it'll help me
try.
sleep.
You have to try. Yeah, maybe I'll send you a picture of which one I buy.
Please.
I love it. I love it. It's very, very addictive. Yeah, but it's really good. So, but I can sleep. So that's weird.
I'm very curious to that. Thank you for
Okay. Yeah, I'll send you a picture of it. Okay. Yeah, great. It's been so wonderful to talk to you, and
thank
you
you for
are,
having me.
yeah, like a lot of your friends said, your inspiration. And thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for your wisdom. And I hope other people look at you and they get some encouragement if they get sick, or if they immobile, and there is still light in the end of the tunnel. And yeah,
Thank you. Thank you for having me and letting me share my story, and pleasure to talk with you. Thank you.
thank you. All right, so until next time, I'm going to say goodbye to our audience, and say goodbye to Hal. And yeah, keep the good work, and be healthy, and take your vitamins.
And drink my Turkish coffee.
Yeah, drink your sure. Okay, take care. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for joining
Bye
us.
bye.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah, yeah. Bye bye.